Everyone, welcome back to my podcast. This week's topic is do what brings you joy, live your best life.
Welcome to the Light, Hope, and Healing podcast, where we discuss why you have stress, anxiety, pain, illness, and how to heal from it. I am your host, Tracy Gohrick. My background is a healing coach, energy healer, spiritual mentor, intuitive, and channel.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my podcast. This week's topic is do what brings you joy, live your best life. So a lot of people and clients I've had, they just don't know what their life purpose is, or they don't know how to find it or how to figure it out. And what I've noticed for myself, and it's something that took me a while to learn, is if something brings you joy, that's what you're supposed to follow, right? Being a healer really brought me joy. It lifted me up, like there was no holding back. And, I had the intuition to follow that, and I did. And never once have I regretted doing that, right? So, like I said, I have clients come to me and they don't know what they're supposed to do. Well, here's the problem. They come and they want answers. They'll go to psychics and want answers. And the problem is maybe a psychic will tell you, but question it if they do on what you're supposed to do, because we come here with free will to do what we decide to do, right? So we all have free will. We might have come in with a soul plan, but we don't always necessarily follow it because we get into our traumas and being afraid or stress or whatever, and we don't always follow that life plan. The one way you can know that you're following what you're meant to do or meant to come here to do is if it brings you joy, right? Now, on the other side, and I saw a quote of this, and I've seen it in my life with my husband and myself. If you're really going down a path that's not good for you or you needed to get out of, you'll be kind of nudged here and there, like this is, you'll feel it like this is not a good situation. And so you'll be nudged, and then those nudges will get stronger. And if you continue to ignore it, if it's something you really needed to get out of, you'll be forced out of it. Okay? You'll be forced out of it. Especially if that's kind of how you set yourself up, your soul plan up for it, but you'll be forced out. And I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen with my clients. I've seen it happen with my husband. There's been situations where it was time for him to go from a job, and he needed to get out. And it got to the point he kept being nudged because you have that security with the job, right? And he had to change, but he was forced to get out of it. But it was something that we can look back on now, and it really needed to happen. He needed to get out of that job because we can look back and see what's happened, to that place that he worked at. And it just wasn't going to be a good place for him to be had he stayed much longer. So pay attention to your little nudges. Pay attention to what brings you joy, and you'll know where you're supposed to go. Now, I have a couple examples for myself. Like I said, the healing, that's something that totally brought me joy. I was totally drawn to and how I fell into it. And over my whole lifetime, there was always little things here and there that showed me that that's what I was going to do. I went down the natural path with my children. I learned about doing different things naturally, once I had my children. And even as myself as a young child, I've said this before, I wouldn't take this medicine, this antibiotic I was supposed to take. And my body, and I knew somewhere deep inside that I didn't want that. Now, I'm not saying don't ever have antibiotics. I did at some points in my life, but at that point, it wasn't something I needed. And I did heal without that antibiotic. And I've even had situations with my children where they had ear infections, and I took them to the doctor, and then I took the prescription in, but we couldn't get the prescription till the next day, which was very frustrating because they were in pain. And I had this natural stuff that I put in their ear and they felt better by the next morning. I went ahead and picked up the antibiotic, but I never had to give it to them. My point in telling you this is I was always drawn to doing the natural things, not going against doctors. I'm not saying not go, whatever, but I was always drawn to that. And that's what put me on this path to do more natural things. And so recently, I've been really drawn to get into more herbs and doing things with herbs and healing, which I would do, but I would go buy it. But more now, it's making it myself, the herbs and things. And what we did recently, and it brought me so much joy, and that's what made me think about this, was we made fire cider. Me and my husband and my son, we made fire cider. And it was so much fun to do. It was so, I don't know, it just lifted me up and brought me joy. And that's the feeling that you know you're following what you're supposed to do, is when you have that feeling of joy in whatever it is you're doing. If you don't have the joy, you want to continue to look until you find the things that bring you joy. And so look for the things that bring you joy. Watch, pay attention to when you're doing different things that brings you joy, right? Even if it's drawing, writing, doing podcasts, doing videos. That's another thing that brought me joy. Over the years with my kids, when they're in sports and stuff, I would always do the slideshows at the end of the season that had pictures from the whole season. And that brought me so much joy. And then I recently had my son got married, and so I made a slideshow for them for the rehearsal dinner. And that brought me so much joy to do it. And that's totally different than my healing stuff, right? But it's something that still brought me joy. And so it's something that I am meant to do on some level, whatever level that is, right? So pay attention to what brings you joy, and then see where that can maybe bring you income if it's something you need to do for income, right? If you need income, because if you're in a job that you're miserable at, you want to look at the things that bring you joy and then see if it's a thing that you can turn into an income for yourself. Because we are here to enjoy life. We're not here to just be miserable and go to these miserable jobs and work in these miserable places. And I remember I worked at a job when I met my husband, and we were both working there. And I look at this place and it looks like a prison. The way it was set up and the way it felt, it was like a prison. You know, they were controlling you the whole time you're there. And we as humans were not meant to do that. We're meant to do things that bring us joy, help humanity, help others, and be happy. Be happy in what we're doing. So it's time for us to start reprogramming ourselves to know and remember that we're here to be happy. I think things are going to change on Earth now pretty soon. And where we get to, it'll be easier for us to get to do that. But even if it doesn't, I challenge you to start looking at and paying attention to what really lifts you up when you're doing it, and start doing more of it, and start maybe seeing ways where you can turn that into a job that would bring you income for yourself. Because the more of us that do that, the more of us that are living in joy and having a happy life and doing things that bring us joy, the more that will spread around the world and earth. Our light spreads that way. It's the more that we do the healing and we do what brings us joy rather than misery, is how we're going to change the world. All right? I want to share with you the sponsor of this video. It is the X39 Lifewave patches. These are amazing, and I want you to know I don't share anything or recommend anything unless I use it for myself, and I totally love it. Okay, I don't do any of that. These I love. My mother, my husband, and I have all been on them since August. And immediately what I noticed was much more energy in myself. I had much more energy to get things done and just felt a lot of energy during the day. And I didn't get tired in the afternoon like I would sometimes. And I also noticed in myself that I had a mole up here and it just disappeared, right? And I had a few more like later that happened too. And then I noticed that I had a cut on my hand and it healed really quickly. Okay. And then so with my mother, she is almost 80 and she would get tired in the late afternoon and take naps usually around 2, 3, or 4, right? And once she got on these patches, she no longer needed the nap. Wasn't taking naps anymore. She was had more energy herself and was more well rested. And then finally with my husband, and these are just a few of the results, okay? Finally with my husband, he had a lot more energy. He's been retired and he kind of got in a slump, and he had a lot of energy once he got on these patches. A couple of days after getting on the patches, he pulled his shoulder out of his socket, which he's done before. He popped it back in anyway, and it bruised horribly. He couldn't lift his arm up. He hurt it pretty bad. It's something he does a lot. And the next day, he was able to lift it halfway up. And then the day after that, he was able to lift it all the way up again, which that's never happened when he's dislocated his shoulder. And there was tons of bruising all the way down his shoulder, and that cleared up, and it was much lighter like the second day, and it cleared up much quicker, and he just healed so much faster after being on these patches. So here's what they look like. And you just take it off and you put it on. Well, this is one place you put it, is the back of the neck, and I hope this is going to show up in the video right there. Back of the neck is where I put mine. And you can put it on your stomach, and there's many other places you can put it, but there is information in the description below on these patches. They are amazing, and I want to just give you what it says on the website about it, just so you have an idea of how it works and why it works. The technology of the X39 patches is phototherapy. It gently stimulates the skin with light, which stimulates the natural flow of energy in the body, which improves the health in the body. So like I said, we've had amazing results. I love them. My mom loves them. My husband loves them. I have quite a few other people on them, and they've all had amazing results. It's helped improve their health and helps them recover quicker. So if you have any questions or interested in them, go ahead and reach out to me. All the information to contact me is below. There is also a Start X39 website. You can go check it out. Or if you just want to order it, there's a link to order it in the description below. But check them out. I have been so happy on these patches. So in the description below, there's a healing meditation. Click on that. I've had a lot of great feedback from that. You click on that and you put in your email and you'll receive it in your email. There's lots of ways to work with me. All the links are in the description below. If there's any topics you want me to discuss, let me know either in the comments or send me an email. That's in the description below, my email. And also like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Now go do something you love. Every day do something you love, something that lifts you up, whether it's sing, dance, run around the yard, do at least one thing that lifts you up. And then do at least one thing of self-care, whether it's drink tea, Epsom salt bath, pray, meditate, do at least one thing of self-care. And then look for the good in everything. Look for the good in everything and in everyone. And when you see something in someone that stands out to you, say it to them. And finally, write 10 things you're grateful for. Do these things, and I promise you're going to see a difference in your life. That's what I've got for today. I love you all, and I'll see you soon.